Hello folks, and welcome to a little gameplay of a game that came out, I want to say around 2001, called Startopia. So it's a little bit of a colony management simulator. In this instance though, it's actually managing a space station. So we can actually get a little view of what the space station looks like from this third level here. So the space station is the general sort of donut-shaped ring. In this instance, I am playing a skirmish mode of the game. So it's me and 3 other computer players, I believe.
Trade Federation reports that luxury goods are in great demand.
And that there is, what's her name? Or what's his name? Some manner of virtual AI interface. That provides a little bit of inputs. Anyways, so what's going on here? Well, easy way to describe this game is, think of it, it's not like The Sims. Well, it's kind of like The Sims, because eventually you get a whole bunch of aliens and you have to take care of their needs and that sort of thing. The basic fundamentals of what Sims is. But then it goes out beyond that as well. Incorporates kind of like some tycoon game elements into it as well, because you can run businesses, not directly, but like from a macroeconomic perspective. There's also a measure of fighting in this game. So fighting against other players, fighting against criminals, as well as fighting against the occasional spy as well. You always got to keep an eye out for them, because if you don't, they can potentially blow up your stuff. So what I'm doing right now is I am building up some of the basic facilities that are needed for my space station. So lavatrons, those are like showers. The port is a very important thing. Port provides the access for people to get in and out of the station. Comm sensor is access to communications. Dinomats are where people, well, based on the name obviously, go to dine, get food. And then finally the berth is the general sleeping quarters. It's a very basic setup. It doesn't provide anything to make people happy. It doesn't provide a lot in the way of money. But at the very least, it is a source for people to sleep in. So we're going to set all of this up here. Got some slumber pods that we can set up automatically. So we'll set all of those up and then we'll expand upon it later. Now the A down here, that is Arona. He is like a freelance trader. Only thing, his stuff is expensive, so you gotta be careful with what you buy from him, because otherwise you're just not going to benefit from it too much. So the love nests, that's actually going for a decent price. You'll notice these little frowny faces. So that kind of shows you where that price is on the galactic scale. So anything with a frowny face is expensive, to say the least. So a lot of that is expensive. The love nest, again, isn't so bad. Security control isn't too bad, but I don't know if I necessarily want that. You know what I'm gonna do? Well, we do have the Star Dock. That's expensive. But the Star Dock is good because you can use that to access other traders, which will make things much easier in the long run. You can also do the cargo holds and the factory, and let's do the laboratory. Sick bay, recycler, hopefully I don't need those for the moment. And hopefully everything else works out alright. So let's close that out. We will buy another section. Now to do that I had to spend 10,000 credits. And then we're gonna go to hard plan crates and build this star dock. Actually, you know what? Before we do the star dock, we will do the cargo hold, because we're going to need a place to store all the cargo that we're going to get here. Alright, now we can do the star dock. So, star docks are rather large, as you can see. Pretty much you want to put it somewhere where it's not going to be too in the way. So this location might work. Go ahead, place it there. And eventually our what are called scuzzers will get around to actually building it. Oh, I just realized that recycler actually would have been kind of useful because we have all of this litter that's starting to show up. But hopefully we can use the laboratory to kind of get things built up. Actually, before I do that, let's bring that back into our... now this is kind of called a... what's it called? The pattern buffer for your teleporter is where all this stuff is. Let's go ahead and... can I build a factory in this place too? We don't quite have enough room, which means I'm gonna have to open up another location. Now, one thing to note, as your power goes down, which is also your main source of currency, well, your energy credits is your main source of currency. As that goes down, your power goes down. So you'll notice this, which used to be a green bar, is now in the yellow. So I have to be careful, otherwise I might potentially overstretch it, and that would not be good. You, quit that. I want to actually place down that factory here. Alright, probably not the best spot, but hopefully it'll work. Place the factory down, and I'm really hoping that I don't overdo our whole power setup. Otherwise I might have to turn off some buildings. But let's see if we can make this work. Build a laboratory right here. We'll need an analyzer. And we'll need a workbench. We'll do 2 workbenches for the moment. Alright. I still have a love nest. I gotta set that up as well. But for the moment, let's see. I need someone to operate communications. And that is what's called a targ. Which is a little guy that looks like Watto from the Phantom Menace. If you remember what he looks like. Of course, I'm not finding him around here. Don't think he'd be hanging out here, no. Here he is. Grekatarg. So this one isn't too expensive, only 275 to hire. We'll go ahead and hire him. He'll move over to the comm sensor to start work there. Also need to keep an eye out for some of the scientist creatures. Now that's another thing about this game, is all the different creatures provide different roles. So this Kamarama guy, they are, well, they're very Jamaican influenced, if you couldn't tell. But what they do, they are able to plant a whole bunch of plants on deck 3, which then can be used. The factory has suffered a power failure. Well, I'll just turn off the factory, because I don't really need it for the moment. Let's go ahead. There should be a piece of litter around here somewhere. Okay, I was wrong. There is not a piece of litter around here. At least not yet. There it is. Okay, we got the litter. Put the litter on there to be analyzed once we find our scientist guys. Anyways, going back to what I was saying. So each of the different creatures does a different task. These guys, the Kazvagorians, they provide security, and they work the security control building, which is used to find various threats, criminals, that sort of thing, to bring them in and get rehabilitated. Then you have the Sirens, which are the closest to humans in this game. They're pretty much humans with wings, so very close to angels. They work the love nest. Now, the way they work the love nest is very PG, but I'm sure the actual way is very not so PG. You also have these little pig guys, the Grulian salt hogs. They work a lot of the industrial jobs, so the factories, the recyclers, those sort of jobs. Now there's also the Greys, the very basic sort of space alien look. Those guys work with the medical field, so Whenever your guys get sick, you build a sick bay, and the Greys are the ones who heal them up. Hopefully, anyways. Because another thing that can potentially happen is your employees might end up becoming criminals. So the Greys especially you have to be watchful for, because if you have a criminal working on providing services, more than likely he's going to get people killed. And when people get killed, it ends up costing you credits. I can't remember what the exact amount is, if it's 1,000 or 5,000 or what. But if I remember correctly, it can end up hurting you quite a bit. So you always want to be careful with that. One last little bit about the aliens that are here. The 4 aliens that can attack enemies are the Targ, the Greys, the Kazvagorians, and the Grulian Salt Hogs. And that's important because you might get spies and certain criminals and other things. And then later on, you'll be attacking other players. So you got to be willing to take care of them. Actually, now that I think about it, I don't think I necessarily did enable other players. Or if I did, I haven't found them. I may not have remembered to do that. I may have just gone with the more simple route. Oh, here's one more alien that I didn't actually go over. So the Polvakian Gem Slug. This guy is like very regal, noble, that sort of thing. And pretty much what that means is these guys don't do shit. They just sit around, they go to all of the fancy places on deck 2, which is where the recreational buildings are. And they don't get employed by anything, but they do provide certain services to produce money. Obviously, they go to those recreational facilities, and I want to say they do something else for money too. I can't remember. I don't think they poop out stuff for money. I don't think, but I'm not entirely sure. All right, so this is kind of interesting. We have a criminal guy here who is actually doing some work for us. I'm not entirely sure how well this is going to work. But it'll be interesting to see if it does actually work out and if we do actually get the research done for this. Let's see. So as litter, we are working on the litter bin. Not entirely sure what the status is of getting to the completed technology though. So we'll give it a little bit of time, see what happens. And if it works out, then all the better. One other alien that I didn't go over are the Zeta monks. So what these guys can do, you can recruit one, and his job is to go to deck 3 and set up a little religious monument. You can actually probably recruit quite a few of them. So once they build their monument, they start to preach to the other alien races. And at a certain point, they will convert one of those guys into what's called a penitent, which is a guy that wears a big set of armor. Unfortunately, these guys with the big sets of armor aren't any good in combat, which totally sucks, because you'd think with all their armor and all that, they would be great for that, but no, they're useless. So they create penitents, and I want to say once they get to like 12, they do some kind of religious ceremony with the Zeta monks and the penitents, and then they all rise up into be raptured or some nonsense like that. Now the good news is that each time you recruit someone, you get a source of money from that. So that's actually kind of neat. Yeah, there's several different ways to make money in this game. The penitents are one. Providing services like through the sick bays and all of that is another. Trade is a pretty good way to make money, but you got to be able to wait it out at the right time, get the right traders. Like certain traders, and the traders are all based off of... Oh crap.
Administrator, sensors indicate an explosive device has been planted on the station.
An explosive device has been planted on the station. So whenever that happens, you want to keep an eye out for anything that is blinking yellow. That is generally what the explosive device is. Oh, here it is. Okay. I was wrong. It's not yellow, it's green. So sometimes if you look around, you can find the guy that actually planted it. What is going on? Oh dear, it's happening over here. Everyone is fleeing. Not sure what else is going on. But the good news is at least I was able to get that bomb before it detonated. We can place it over here. Oh, and it decides to automatically detonate. Oops. Well, fortunately, no one was taken out. Because if someone was taken out, that would have been expensive. Now, if I had a recycler, I could have actually used that to, is this the guy that was being a criminal? Starship hijacking. He is a criminal. Alright, well, we don't want to do anything with the criminal. Do we have any signs that he actually improved? Not really. It doesn't look like we really got much in the way of research from that. So I'm not sure if those scientist guys actually, if they're a criminal, if they hinder that research or what. One thing I will notice is you can see most of our little pods are being used here. So let's go ahead and build a few more. And good news is that these slumber pods will produce a little bit of money. Each time someone uses one, we get 50 credits. And then there's also a plus as well. Not entirely sure what causes that. Oh dear. We have a criminal, and he's trying to kill one of our monks. So now might be a time to recruit some better guys. Is he a criminal? No, he's not. But he does not want to join us. Crap. Yeah, we could definitely use some Kazvagorians right now. To at least provide some basic security services. If I recall correctly, I want to say the level of combat goes like Kazvagorian is the top, then Grulian Salt Hog, then I want to say the Targ, then the Grey, but I'm not entirely sure. And he really wants to kill that monk. Oh my goodness. Alright, well I guess we're gonna have to get some Start Hogs. Or Salt Hogs. Whoops.
Galactic Trade Federation reports that current markets are stable.
To at least try and get some people here taking out these guys. And the good news is at least getting these Salt Hogs. I can then use... Oh wait, no, I thought we did have one. Never mind. Hey, I was able to get one. Haha. I just hope that we can take them out before they take out one of my guys. Oh, right. An enemy agent working undercover on your station has been terminated. So we took out one of those guys.
A meteor storm has struck Biodeck, segment 6.
Still looking for scientists that aren't criminals. Which, it seems only that guy is. I mean, I could resort to using the criminal. It's not ideal. Oh, fine then, I will use it. Only because he's the only guy that I see on this whole station. Oh, here's one. He's not very skilled, but he works. Speaking of skills, if we go and look at one of the guys. So particularly the Greys. Another thing about the Greys too, you don't want to hire any criminals, as I said earlier, because it can potentially kill people. But also you want to make sure that they have some decent skills. Because if they're an unskilled doctor, just like the real world, you can potentially end up killing people. You don't want to do that, so. But yeah, we will gradually work to continue building up here. We definitely need to work on our research. That's probably like one of the big things. Because once we get some better research going, we can develop better technologies and start to actually build out some of our different buildings and that sort of thing. Because as you can see right now, there's not much we can build. The only thing that you start off, at least in a skirmish scenario, is being able to do some of basic cargo. Which, while it has some use, is not very useful, at least starting out. Probably the main use of the basic cargo is to start on technology. Now, the cargo is also good for providing goods for your stores and that sort of thing that you'll get on deck too. Though, because of how we're focusing on doing it right now, we don't have much on deck too. But yeah, you'd go and do your basic cargo, like hardware supplies here. That first thing goes over to making a slumber pod, which is part of the berths. You have, let's see, oh, that's still hardware. Here we go, industrial materials. So that first thing goes over to making a factory. Mineral ores goes to making a bench. And luxury goods go to make a love chair. Oh, hold on, what is this? We got a little alert here. Oh, we created a penitent.
Received 5,000 E from the ZM Conclave and their most religious thanks.
Alright, so we got 5,000 E. Let's go look at that little penitent. Generally, I think, yep, they hang out right over here. So this is the penitent. As you can see, there's that big stop symbol when I hover over them. That pretty much means they don't give a damn about you. Oh, this one actually did look at us. But yeah, look at this armor that they have. You'd think they could do something, but unfortunately not. So that is a little review of gameplay for Startopia. It's definitely one of the games from my childhood that I did enjoy. Probably the biggest issue with this game is just managing everything, especially once you get to having several sections for like almost a half of a starbase. And then you get those bombs that show up. Oh, that is fun trying to do search and destroy, or search and, teleport a bomb before it goes off, killing all your people. There are some other interesting things that happen as well. If you get a whole bunch of litter, like we have, for example, right now, you can attract little critters, one of which is a little cute kitten that your alien citizenry will go and pet. Well, it turns out this kitten isn't so cute, and eventually once it eats enough trash or whatever, it infects a guy, and then turns that guy into a big bug monster. It'd be nice to see that happen. I'm gonna try and see if I can make it happen, just to demonstrate it here. But it may not happen, so let's find out. Alright, so the first of the little critters has started to show up, and that is actually this little mouse thing called space vermin. So when you get all this mess, space vermin start to show up. Now the space vermin aren't actually as bad as the little cat creatures, because the space vermin only spread disease, but they don't turn you into a horrible space bug. So it will be an issue if I continue to let this, persist and eventually continue to go without a sickbay, but for the moment it won't be too horrible. At least as far as causing a whole bunch of damage to the station. Alright, so I've been recording for about an hour now, but I haven't had any luck getting the little kitten creatures to show up. But I do have an alternative method for vermin control if I can get one of them to show up here. So we have one of the vermin over here, but I've recently set up a security column, which is like a little turret, good for fighting off any enemy agents. It also gets any criminals that come into range to halt, and allows for security scuzzers, the security robots, to come over and either apprehend them or take them to be booted off of the station. So they'll also kill these little space vermin. Unfortunately, it looks like the space vermin are... Oh, maybe. He's coming over. No, keep moving. There we go. Alright, one little shot. Took out the space vermin. Then you can take the space vermin. And you can do this with any dead body. You can take any of the dead bodies. And I've also set up a recycler here. Just go ahead, teleport the dead bodies into the recycler. And then you get some extra energy credits when the salt hogs come over. Set that up. So that is going to be it here for today as far as showing off what is in Startopia. It's an interesting little game, it has some neat little quirks, and it has a lot of personality to it as well. Unfortunately, the game, well, and the company that made the game, I believe, went under. I want to say they were called Muckyfoots. It was a weird name, but they were made from Eidos Interactive, and Eidos went on under quite a long time ago as well. So thanks for watching, folks. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe, as well as follow me over on Twitch, where I do all of my streams. And if you enjoyed this, leave a like, as it gives me ideas for things to stream on Twitch, as well as future videos. So thanks for watching, and I will see you later.